Hello beautiful people, my name's Caitlin and welcome to my channel. Today I am coming at you with my second May wrap up. In the first half of May, I was pretty successful. I read 4 books, I was feeling good, and then I read 2 in the past 3 weeks. So a little bit of a slump, but hopefully I plan on reading more books in June because usually I read a lot more in the summer. But before I get into the 2 books I read at the end of the month, I'm going to go through my overall monthly stats with you guys. In total this month, I read 6 books. 5 of those books were written by female authors. 1 of those books was written by a male author. As far as genres go, it was pretty even, which I find I'm usually pretty good at being even in my genre reading, which I think is nice. I read 2 pieces of fiction, 2 pieces of poetry, and then 2 pieces of nonfiction. The first book I read in the second part of May was I'll Be Gone in the Dark, One Woman's Obsessive Search for the Golden State Killer by Michelle McNamara. And this book was written over a long period of time. Michelle researched this case obsessively, like the title says, and this book is a collection of all of her research, all of the evidence she got, and a little bit of her story as well. Tragically, in the middle of writing this book, Michelle died unexpectedly, and her husband and editors and publishers helped finish this book based on the evidence that they found on her computer. The most fascinating part of this book to me was the fact that it was published and then a couple weeks later, they finally caught the Golden State Killer after decades of not knowing who he was. And I just think that's so fascinating and such a testament to her research abilities and her ability to compile this evidence. Now, do I think this entire case was solved because of this book? No, because it ended up being solved by DNA evidence, but she did foresee that happening. In the last 2 chapters of the book, she talked about the science of DNA testing and familial DNA in cases such as this. This book was so good, I couldn't put it down even though it took me forever to finish. It was gruesome and horrifying, and she goes through every single case of his, and he, I believe he raped 50 people and murdered at least 10 that we know of. It was so well written. Her voice is amazing. She makes the evidence easy to understand. 5 out of 5 stars. If you really like this topic and like this book, HarperCollins made a podcast that talks about the behind the scenes of this book and how this book was made. I'll link that down below. It's really great. The last book I read in May was this little poetry collection, Take Me With You by Andrea Gibson. Now, a couple videos ago, I talked about how much I love Andrea Gibson, how she's probably my favorite poet right now. So I was super excited to see that she had a new collection out. Unfortunately, this collection was a lot different than her other collections. She usually writes long form poetry that is translated later into spoken word poetry. However, this collection is a bunch of short pieces, kind of embracing the Instagram poetry Rupi Kaur style that's really popular right now. So I was a little hesitant at first to get into this, and turns out I was hesitant for a good reason. Did not love this collection. I thought it left a lot to be wished for. I just kept wishing that it was her other work that was long and beautiful and dense and full of great, beautiful figurative language, and it just wasn't. So I still love Andrea Gibson. I still recommend her other collections. However, I ended up giving this 2 stars. Honestly, if it wasn't Andrea Gibson and if I didn't love her so much, I probably would have given it 1 star. I'm so sorry. So these were the books I ended up reading in May, along with the 4 other ones at the beginning of the month. If you want to see my reviews on those 4 books, click the link down below. Let me know what you read in May and let's chat. I hope you guys have a good day. Bye.